Coyote goes to the dance. Coyote was out walking on the prairie. He was feeling bored. I wish I could find something to do, he whined. And I'm hungry too. That was certainly true. Coyote was so skinny that his ribs were showing through his scruffy fur. Then, as he went over a little hill, he began to hear something. It was the sound of a drum and voices singing. Oh, Coyote said, someone is having a dance. I like to dance. He looked around trying to find the source of the drum and the singing, but all he could see around him was wide prairie. Where were the sounds coming from? The ones singing were singing well, even though their voices were very high and shrill. Coyote looked in front of him and in back of him. He looked to one side and the other. He looked up. Then he looked down. There he saw an old skull of a bison. The sound was coming from inside the hollow skull. Coyote bent down to look. Inside that bison skull was a whole tribe of little field mice. Some of them were beating on a small drum, with drumsticks made of twigs. Others were shaking tiny rattles as they danced in a circle. They were all happily singing a mouse powwow song. Yahweh, hi-ya, Yahweh, hi-ya, Yahweh, hi-ya, way-ya, hi-hi-yo. Those mice seemed to be having a wonderful time as they danced in that circle around the drum. That looks like so much fun, Coyote thought. And those mice look delicious. I could dance, and then it would be time to eat. Hey, Coyote said, you mice! The field mice stopped drumming and dancing. They looked up and saw one of Coyote's big yellow eyes staring in at them. They were not happy to see that. They knew that Coyote liked to eat field mice. Can I join in? Coyote said. I'm a great singer, and I love to dance. Field Mouse Chief motioned his people to stay where they were. If they ran out to try to escape, they might be caught and eaten. Then he stepped forward. That might not be a good idea, Coyote. Field Mouse Chief said in a nervous voice. You are very big, and we are very small. There may not be enough room in here for you. Coyote did not listen. He wanted to dance, and he was also getting hungrier. I am sure I can fit in there, he said. Can I come in? All right, Coyote, Field Mouse Chief said. You can try to join us. Field Mouse Chief pointed with his nose off to his left. Try to come in through our door. The door was a big hole at the end of the skull. Coyote stuck his long nose into that hole. His nose fit in with no trouble. See, Coyote said, I can fit inside. But now it was not so easy. Coyote had to push to get more of his head through the hole. He pushed and pushed as hard as he could. Keep trying, Coyote, Field Mouse Chief said as he motioned for his people to start leaving. You're almost in. Coyote pushed even harder. Then, pop! His whole head was inside the skull. I'm here, Coyote said. Where's the dancing? He looked around. The drum and all of the field mice were gone. As soon as Coyote's head was inside, they had ran away. Coyote tried to pull his head out to see where they had gone, but his head was stuck inside the skull. He stood up. He was now a strange sight to see. He looked like a skinny creature with the skull of a bison for a head. Help me, Coyote howled. No one answered. He began to wander around. It was hard for him to see through the eye holes of the skull. He bumped into big rocks. Ouch! He got stuck in prickly bushes. Ouch! Ouch! He stepped on thorny cactuses. Ouch! A herd of shaggy brown bison was resting on the plain. They saw a weird monster with a skull for a head approaching them. Help me! Coyote howled to the herd. His voice echoing out of that skull was loud and strange. All of those bison ran away. Pronghorn Antelope was grazing on the yellow grass at the edge of the prairie where she saw Coyote coming. Help me! Coyote howled. Antelope ran away even faster than the bison. Then Coyote was in the wooded hills. He was bumping into one tree after another. Mule Deer looked up from chewing on a cottonwood branch when he heard Coyote coming. Help me, Coyote howled. But just like the others, Mule Deer ran away from that strange-looking creature with a skull for a head. Finally, Coyote came to the Lakota village of many teepees. Help me, he howled as he stumbled into the village. It's a monster, someone shouted. People began to run away. Wait, a little girl said. It's just Coyote with an old skull stuck on his head. He has gotten himself in trouble again. Help me, Coyote howled. Get this off me. All of you, the little girl called to a group of boys and girls who had started to run away. Get back here. Let's help Coyote. Everyone gather stones. All the children did as she suggested. They gathered lots and lots of stones that were just the right size for throwing. Then they made a big circle around Coyote. I'm not so sure this is a good idea, Coyote said. Oh, it's a great idea, the little girl replied. Now throw your stones, she commanded the group. Everyone began to hurl their stones at the skull stuck on Coyote's head. Most of the stones hit that skull. Some, though, hit Coyote. Ouch, he yelled. Ouch, wait! Coyote tried to signal them to stop. Maybe wearing this skull isn't such a bad thing. I think it makes me look good. Don't worry, Coyote, the little girl said. We're almost done. Finally, one big stone cracked open the skull and it fell off Coyote's head. Coyote was covered with bruises, but he was free. Thank you, he said as he began to walk out of the village. Where are you going, Coyote? The little girl asked. I'm going to hunt for those field mice that got me into so much trouble, Coyote said. And Coyote has been hunting field mice ever since.